In addition to the previous instructions, the Lord gave further scenarios related to the ceremonially unclean small creatures that scurries along the ground. If a carcass of such an animal falls on an oven or a cooking stove, then it shall be destroyed, for it is now unclean. But if it falls on a spring or cistern with an abundant volume of water, then it will still be considered clean. But whatever else the carcass gets in contact with will be considered unclean. If a carcass of such an animal falls on any seed grain to be planted in the field, the seed will still be considered clean. But if the seed was wet when the carcass fell on it, then the seed will be considered unclean. If an animal permissible for consumption dies, and its dead body was not removed, then anyone who touches the carcass shall be considered unclean until the evening. And anyone who carries its carcass must wash his clothes, and will be considered unclean until the evening. And anyone who eats its carcass must also wash his clothes, and will also be considered unclean until the evening. Finally, for creeping animals that creep on the earth, the Lord has declared that all of them shall be an abomination. Among these types of creatures, whatever crawls on its belly, or goes on all fours, or has many feet, shall not be eaten, for they are detestable. The people must not be defiled by any of these creatures. Instead, the people should consecrate themselves, and make themselves holy, for Yahweh is God, and God himself is holy. And finally, the Lord has finished giving the law, identifying the clean and unclean animals. This law will distinguish between the animals that are clean and unclean, in and of itself, and between the animals that are clean and unclean for consumption. And that's Leviticus 11, Part 3.